Hello everybody and welcome back to Movie Squirm. Today I'm going to be doing another ranking video for the month of September 2024, where I'll rank all the new horror movies that I watched in this month. And there's only 5 movies to talk about here, so let's just do it from the worst to the best. Let's get into it. First up we have Never Let Go, starring Halle Berry. Now this is a film about a mother and her 2 children who are living in the woods, and they basically isolated from the world because evil, according to Halle Berry's character, has took over the world, and they have got to stay safe by attaching these ropes to one another and then basically attaching it to the house, and they can only go so far with these ropes and stuff, and they have to go and find food and just basically survive, but they are not allowed to take these ropes off because they will basically succumb to the evil and be possessed by that evil that is out there, which will get into the house. And this is all told from Halle Berry, who basically seen the world end, according to her, and basically found shelter in this home to save her 2 children and herself, really. And it all goes down a sort of concept that I have seen before. If you know the movie Frailty, you will know in that film that the dad seems a little bit crazy and one kid believes him and the other one doesn't, and that's kind of the concept we get here. And throughout the film you don't know which side to take, whether it is Halle Berry talking a load of shit or if she's actually telling the truth, and one kid acts as each side of your shoulder, really. I thought this, even though it's a concept I've seen before, it was a decent concept, something a little bit interesting, but I think I just couldn't get invested into this movie all that much. I mean, I just didn't really like the whole setting of it. It felt like a very depressing movie to watch. And I've got to say, especially in the middle for the whole 45 minutes there, it just becomes a little bit of a lull and gets very, very dull and boring, to be honest. I thought the acting from the 2 kids and Halle Berry was really good. I mean, they give it their all there. But in the end, I just wasn't really caring too much. I mean, I wanted to see the outcome. I wanted to see what was really going on here, but I didn't care all that much, if you like. I was like, okay, I might as well see it out till the end and see what happens, but I wasn't really all that invested, if you get me. I don't think the movie is all that scary, even though it attempts to do a few little creepy moments with some of these demon characters that are involved and stuff, but it just wasn't really pulling it all off for me. Alejandro Aja is a filmmaker who, from the few films I have seen, I think he does a great job. I thought High Tension was awesome, to be honest, but yeah, I just thought this was a little bit of a weak effort, unfortunately. So yeah, it didn't help either that I went to see this movie. In its defense, that I went to a wedding on the weekend and I went to see this on the Monday, still absolutely knackered from the wedding. So that's why I didn't really review it on the channel. I had no energy whatsoever. So sorry I didn't fully review this one, guys. But Never Let Go, a little bit of a disappointment for me after showing some promise in its trailer. So that is Never Let Go. Next up, we have a remake that I didn't think we needed, but I'm glad we kind of have it now, and that is Speak No Evil. Now, I watched the Speak No Evil from 2022, the Danish movie, and I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I was proper squirming in my seat watching that. I felt very uncomfortable during that film, and here you kind of get that vibe again. But I was just thinking, do we really need a remake here? It's only 2 years later. That movie is in English anyway, even though it's a foreign film. What are we trying to do here? But when James McAvoy was on board, I thought, okay, this movie might have something to say. He's a wonderful actor, and I am interested to see what he's going to do in this role as this creepy father of the other family. That was a creepy character in the original, to be honest, and I thought he might be able to give his own little twisted take on it. But this basically sees a family who meet up with another family on holiday, and they become really good friends. They hit it off, and the family that say, do you want to come and stay in our countryside? We've got a great home there. You know, you can come and visit for the weekend. You've got to go and see the outback country, basically. And they agree and they go. And when they get there, things start to take a little bit of a twisted turn. I mean, it slowly builds up, but this family who they've gone to visit are starting to act a little bit weird and making them feel a little bit uncomfortable. And it only escalates from there, where you just want this family to get out of the situation, because it's not going to end well whatsoever. And yes, the movie for the first hour just does a lot of what the other movie did. And I was basically thinking this is going to be a shot-for-shot remake. I mean, they didn't even twist up a few of the other little set pieces. But in the final third, it does go in a little bit of a different direction and separates itself from the other movie. So I'm kind of glad they did that. You can't really speak about this film without comparing it to the original. It's just kind of impossible. But I think they implemented the child characters in this a little bit better. They had more of a story to tell. And it really does depend on what you want the outcome of these movies to be for the characters. And it basically goes one way or the other. So I think James McAvoy was the biggest positive of this movie. I thought he was excellent in this film. What a great performance. And the movie actually really surprised me a lot. I mean, I expected nothing from this movie, but it kind of delivered, and I had like a really good time with it. So yeah, even though it's fourth in this list, it's still a pretty good movie, and I recommend checking it out. So that is Speak No Evil. Next up, we have a bit of a horror light movie here, a bit of a family friendly horror movie, and that is Beetlejuice. Now, I've never been a huge fan of Beetlejuice, but I rewatched it leading up to this one, and I did like it a little bit more than I have in previous watches. I mean, it grew on me, and I thought, okay, I'm actually looking forward to Beetlejuice now after rewatching this, because before rewatching it, I was just like, oh, Beetlejuice, I don't know. But I'm glad I rewatched the first movie in preparation for this, because it got me in the mood. And I've got to say, I enjoyed this one a little bit more. Maybe it's because I've just hardly got any nostalgia for Beetlejuice. Die-hard fans of Beetlejuice probably won't feel that way, although I do think there will be something for them here in this movie. I just don't know if they're going to class it better than the original, but I actually preferred this movie, I'm not going to lie. I just thought it was a lot of fun. I mean, we basically is a legacy sequel now, isn't it? We are dealing with the same family from the first movie, although the father has died, and they have to go back to the house to sort of sort things out, sort the funeral out, get some repossessions and stuff. And of course, the younger daughter, played by Jenna Ortega, to Winona Ryder's character. She's got a daughter in this now. Opens up the portal to Beetlejuice, of course, and all hell starts to break loose, really. Now, there are a few storylines going on here, and I've seen a lot of people complain that there is too much going on. And I kind of agree with that slightly, but I think a lot of these stories kind of wrapped up nicely for me. I mean, I wasn't getting lost or anything. I wasn't really going, oh, what's happening here? What's happening here? I mean, I think most of these stories worked out well, but there is one kind of subplot here that just didn't fit the landing, and that is all to do with Monica Bellucci's character, which is unfortunate because I really thought that she was built up to be such an awesome villain in this movie, but then we kind of don't see her until the very end, and it's like, oh, where was all that going? I mean, that was the one part of the story that I really just wish there was more of. And there was a big twist in the middle of the film that I seen coming straight away, but I've heard a lot of people say that they didn't see that coming. So maybe that storyline just kind of worked for me a little bit more because I knew where it was kind of going. I mean, if you're being thrown off by the twist later on, then maybe you mightn't see that and it might be a little bit muddled for you. I don't know. That's not me trying to be clever clogs or anything, because I never guess twists in movies, but I just seen this one coming. That's all. And there are a lot of fun characters in here. I mean, William Dafoe's character was awesome. You know, he's like this ex-actor, but he's a detective now in the afterlife, and he can switch between actor and detective, and it's so noticeable because he's such an A-class actor. Michael Keaton absolutely jumps back into this role here as Beetlejuice. I'm glad they didn't overload him with screen time like the first movie. I mean, they kind of keep it just low-key, and it totally works. You know, it's about all the other characters in this movie, and I thought Jenna Ortega was a great addition to this franchise. It was her and Winona Ryder's characters that I cared about the most. There's a little bit of a broken relationship there that they're trying to mend as the movie goes on, and that was the bit that got me more invested. There's a song choice towards the end of the at the end of the movie that's trying to sort of replicate the first film a little bit, and I didn't really care for that. But I've got to say, I had a lot of fun with this movie, guys. It's such a fun time, and if you like Beetlejuice, definitely check this one out. So that is Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. Next up, we have a movie that I had heard so much about because the US got this about a month before us. I'm sick of complaining about it now. We all know how that happens. It is really annoying, but what can you do? And that is Strange Darling. Now, I was in two minds whether to put this on the list. It does say at the start of the movie, this is a high-octane thriller film, and it is more of a thriller, but there are definitely horror elements sprinkled about here, and the movie is basically about a serial killer. So I threw it in, and it gave me a chance to talk about it because this movie was fucking awesome. I absolutely loved this film. And Kyle Gallner and the cast and crew were on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, basically threatening people to go and see this movie in a jokey kind of way. He was like, look, you got to go and see this film. Go and see our film. That's the one you want to see. But they have to promote it because this is kind of an indie flick. And I don't blame them because most people are going to see something else. I mean, there was only one showing in my cinema a day on this for 1 week, and it was at like 9:30 at night. And I didn't think I was going to stay awake, man. I've got 2 kids at home these days. And I was like, I'm not going to stay awake for this film, but I'm going to go and try it anyway because I have to see it. And my God, my eyes were open all the way through this. I was totally invested from the off. This movie pulled me right in and did not let go. So this basically opens up with chapter 3. There are 6 chapters in this movie, and we open at chapter 3. And we basically just open with Kyle Gallner's character chasing this woman down a road, coked up off his head. Now, I'm not going to say any more than that, but that's where the movie opens. And you might think that is a little bit pretentious, where the chapters are told out of sequence, because it doesn't go to chapter 4 after that. We soon see to chapter 5, then chapter 1. So that might seem a little bit pretentious, but my God, man, the movie is just so much better off because of this. Everything will wrap up and make sense in the end, and it's almost done in it is done in a Pulp Fiction style movie, the way it's told, but as a serial killer film. And I just absolutely loved it. I mean, the 2 characters in this, Kyle Gallner and Willa Fitzgerald, were awesome, but a big shout out to Willa Fitzgerald, who might have just give the performance of the year. I thought she was absolutely incredible in this movie. It's just such an edgy seat film that you just can't keep your eyes off. I mean, there is great sound design here. Every time Gallner's character shows up, you're just like, holy shit, there's that music again. I mean, you think you know where this movie's going, and it throws you off time and time and time again. And once you think you've got it figured out, you haven't. So, yeah, I just thought this movie must be seen by everyone. Trust me, it is one of the best movies of the entire year, and it's an absolute crime that it made it second on this list. But there was something just a little bit better there that I seen before this. But definitely check this one out, guys. It's friggin' awesome and such a unique movie, which I really appreciate. So that is Strange Darling. Coming in first place, though, is a movie you've all probably heard of by now, and that is The Substance. Now, I went to a Scream Unseen at the cinema, where it's a movie where you don't know what you're going to see, but there was some rumblings there that it was going to be The Substance because Odeon gave you hints and tips of what it might be. And I was quite excited over that because I was thinking, I really want to see this movie. The trailer looked incredible. I only watched the teaser trailer, mind you, but that was enough. If you want to go and see this movie, just watch the teaser trailer, not the full trailer, because go into this as knowing as little as possible. But I walked out to that cinema going, wow. I mean, I was just blown away. And I think a lot of my audience members were as well, because there were so many gasps, so many shocks, so many laughs in this movie. Everyone was having a great time. And most of the time I go to see these Scream Unseens, people walk out 10, 15 minutes in. Nobody walked out of this show. And I looked around after the movie had finished and everyone was still seated. And that is a testament to how good this movie is. Now, it's a movie with a lot to say, but it does it in the most weird and wonderful way you can imagine. Now, Caroline Fargay, who is the director of this movie, she is obviously a woman. She's a female, older woman, and I think she is the perfect person to tell this story. This is a film that deals with a lot of sort of body obsession, not loving your body and sort of feeling bad about yourself as you get older and stuff. And I think a lot of women and men obviously can relate to this, but I just thought it was had so much great commentary in there. It all worked so well on screen for what her vision was and what it was going for. But this basically sees Demi Moore's character called Elizabeth Sparkle, who is an aging celebrity, really. She's got her own aerobics exercise show, and on her 50th birthday, her boss, played by Dennis Quaid, who was friggin' awesome in this film, who's a disgusting character, an absolute slime ball, lets her go and sacks her and fires her on the spot and says, look, we need some younger celebrities coming through now to take over this show. And this makes Demi Moore just feel horrendous, and she finds this drug on the black market that can give her a younger, better version of herself. She decides to take it, and next minute, Margaret Qualley's character is introduced, and things start to go a little bit haywire. I mean, this movie goes down paths that you can never imagine, and it becomes an ultimate body horror film. I thought this was absolutely incredible. I could not take my eyes off the screen, and just when you think that's it, it delivers and gives you more and more, to the point where you're just thinking, what else can this movie give me? And then next minute, bang, there's something else. This film just absolutely grows in dread and ramps it up. The longer it goes on, you're just like, holy shit, where is this going? And I thought the two main characters in this film, Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley, were absolutely exceptional. But Demi Moore especially gives the performance of her career here. I mean, I thought she was fantastic in this film and does a lot of what is asked for her. I mean, especially at her age. I mean, she just delivered this fucking bombastic performance out of nowhere and made everyone sit up and go, oh my god, Demi Moore is back. So, look guys, I highly recommend this and Strange Darling, of course, but these are two of the most unique films I've seen this year. But the substance just edged it a little bit for how batshit insane crazy it actually was. The practical effects in this movie are off the charts. Some of the best practical work I've seen. No CGI bullshit in there, just awesome practical effects, and man, it's just a brilliant movie. It really is. I absolutely loved it. Definitely go and see it, guys. Number one is the substance. Okay, guys, hope you all enjoyed this little mini ranking video for September. What did you think of these movies, guys? And leave your ranking for your horror movies of September down below. Thanks so much. You take care, and I'll see you all next video.